Law and Mediaite?
Law and Mediaite.
There is a legal or law point of view in what's happening in the news.
5 devices in the building that
sends its people.
All right, welcome back to the Law&Crime Network. 2019 is starting off with a bang of trial cases, but I'm also looking at a bang in the world of politics. We have Mediaite great Colby Hall with us. Colby, I am looking at an article on my screen. I'm not sure if I can even believe it. I'm confounded. I'm dumbfounded. I'm amazed. 'Tis the season to be jolly. But yet I see here incoming GOP Senator Mitt Romney launches 2019 with scathing is the word used, I'm reading it word for word, op-ed rebuking Trump. That is referring to President Trump, and that's from the Washington Post. Colby, where media meets the law, media meets politics, nobody does it better than you. What is happening?
Well, it's good to see you. Happy New Year. Thanks. Always great to see you, Bob. Senator like Mitt Romney is no stranger to the sort of public eye, and he's about to be sort of inducted as the junior senator of Utah, and he enters D.C. with a huge splash by publishing a scathing rebuke of President Trump in the Washington Post op-ed section. As you can see here, he says the president shapes the public character of the nation. Trump's character falls short. And he goes on in this sort of long, it's sort of an intro into what Romney expects to do in D.C. But he shot sort of it's a clear broadside on the Trump administration and letting D.C. know that he's not just going to be one of Trump's lackeys. He went so far as to say December was Trump's administration went into deep dissent, which was a remarkable turn of events for it's not strange to see an elected official give broadsides to a sitting president, but for someone from their own party, someone who was previously aligned, it's a development that will, it's only going to be fun to follow as it develops over the next week or so.
Yeah, Colby, I'm curious because here's a guy, a lot of people say that the Republican establishment will come out against Trump because of that strong base, that 30 to 40% that they are so fearful of. But here you've got a guy not coming out of office where most of the Republicans tend to say something, but coming into office. So he must not see a political risk to that. And also, what was Trump's reaction?
Well, Trump comes from the Roy Cohn school of hit back 10 times harder than you got hit. And so he's known for hitting back on Twitter, and he did not ignore this. This became cable news fodder this morning, and we know the president loves to watch cable news in the morning, and so he obviously caught that, and he tweeted back the following. I think we have the graphic here. Here we go with Mitt Romney, but so fast. Is he going to be like Jeff Flake? I hope not. Would much prefer that Mitt focus on border security and so many other things where he can be helpful. He does remind Mitt Romney that he won big and he didn't. But then he says that he should be happy for all Republicans, be a team player and win. What's interesting in this tweet is that relative for Trump's usual disses and rebukes on Twitter, this is a remarkably muted or sort of even soft reply. It suggests that President Trump realizes that in the next 2 years of this term, Mitt Romney is way more important to Trump. That is to say, Senator Romney's potential support of the Trump administration is way more important to President Trump than reverse. So this was a sort of a telling moment where President Trump was actually kind of nice in response to Mitt Romney.
Colby, one more question. If you remember back in the early days of this administration, I recall those graphics of Mitt Romney going to his golf club and going to dinner, and there was all this idea that he may be in the administration. Could be a little bad blood there, no?
Well, there was a lot of talk that perhaps Trump, sort of held. There's this old adage that keep your enemies, your friends close and your enemies closer. That, Romney was pretty vocal against Trump during the campaign. And so he had Trump, Trump had Romney in potentially to be Secretary of State. And some suggest that he was just doing that to embarrass Mitt Romney, so you're right. There could definitely be some bad blood. Romney, I think, looked the part of Secretary of State, but he was not in line. And, of course, that went to Rex Tillerson for reasons that we don't know. In another interesting development, Ronna McDaniel is the head of the RNC. She tweeted a response to this. Ronna McDaniel tweeted, called out Mitt Romney as the, POTUS is attacked and obstructed by the MSN media after a Republican freshman senator to attack real Donald Trump as their first act feeds into the Democrats and the media want it's disappointing and unproductive. It's, it's hilarious that she would go after Mitt Romney, who is otherwise known as Uncle Mitt. That's right, the RNC chairman, Ronna McDaniel, is actually Mitt Romney's niece. So she was put in a really tough spot right there. There is this sort of GOP on GOP battle. She had to pick sides, and who did she align with? This was an act of fealty or loyalty towards President Trump and saying, sorry, Uncle Mitt, I have to do my job. I've got President Trump back. So it'll be an interesting holiday at the Romney house with Ronna McDaniel and Uncle Mitt talking about this battle.
But let me, from the media point of view, I've seen some kinks in the armor a little bit. Even Fox, I think we did a hit earlier back in 2018, towards the end of 18, where they started questioning stuff with regard to the immigration policy. Is this the beginning? Is this a watershed moment where somebody's standing up, coming in there saying, I really don't care about your base. I don't care about any fear of you. I'm coming in here having won an election. I got 6 years of a term. Can he start to turn hearts and minds of other Republicans?
Well, we've been saying that this could be a watershed moment for pretty much 2 years now. And, this president, even before he was in the world of politics, Donald Trump lived in the world. He was the most comfortable person in the world of chaos. He played with loans, he played with debt, he played with bankruptcy, and yet he always survived. So, people have been saying that this is the tipping point of the end of the Trump presidency, or at least in the support of the GOP, but we still haven't seen it. So your guess is as good as mine. I suspect that he's going to keep going.
Wow. Colby Hall, listen, Mediaite, I love what you guys do. I always love having you on as a guest. This is really a dramatic, break and departure from the typical Republican decorum so far in the first 2 years of this presidency, Colby. And with a now Democratic Congress coming into play, these could be the little ingredients that start to make it's going to be tough on Trump's stew. I don't know.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Bob. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Colby. Thanks so much.
Happy New Year.